your rhyme, and you didn't, you thwarted those expectations every time. So that there's this, I can definitely see how you're using your line, you know, to establish rhythm. And so within that structure of sound that you've created, the listener, the reader is ready for anything, you know, whatever world you choose to, you know, bring us. And the mood was so, well, you know, Man in Black, the title, never underestimate titles, you know, because a title, some people like to say, you know, you're untitled and you don't know how to think of titles and you just leave it like that. And I argue that a title can really help the reader situate them in a poem, and it can do a lot of work for the poem that the poem doesn't have to do, you know. So when you say Man in Black, you already create a sort of expectation. You know, you're not exactly thinking Will Smith, but maybe. Just when you thought the poem was going to be about Will Smith, and you realize this is not a Disney movie. No. This is some real stuff. I mean, there's a dagger in his back, and he has eyes of mud, and there's a ladder in the back of his mind. I mean, you know, it's some really, really stunning images. Cool. So really try to listen to each other, you know, like think of the things when you hear each other, the things that really stand out, and think about why that is, you know, for the next person that reads. Who's next? Yes.
Small cups on a dinner table, rocked by a few underground tremors, walk off, spilling their contents. The mother is away, the children, playing outside, have nothing on their minds apart from the sun and the shade. A ship in its port blows its horn, signaling its presence, and a flock of butterflies in the north fly in fear as the ground shifts, opening pits of infinite abyss, of fire, of darkness. The great white monster jumps forth, and in its form he's almost presenting us with a bouquet of flowers. Its presence, like a serf to its lord, offers its life and all he owns to its earth. Yet its offering is nothing earth wants, and moreover it challenges its right to its crown, the king of all life, champion of the sky. The ship now topples, and its crew runs in fear from the approaching monster. Its white waves in arms of cold, shattering liquid glisten in the sunlight. Finally, there is total eclipse. Miles of land drenched in the liquid crystal of its conqueror shine. None of them die, their bodies are intact. Some of the bones are found on the shore, some eons old. They make their presence known. The children glance with a swift bout of curiosity. The boy is devastated to go home and see his guitar smashed into pieces. Its strings broken, body down, with a great shaking of brought this gentle creature to its knees. In that same house, the bells ring out and the neighbors check their doors. That captain of his boat walks away, depressed, and tunes in on the coverage of the travesty he has survived. His steam cruiser, now lost in the sea, now drenched in the mud and soil of the ocean floor, sleeps silently, its engine turned off. Its ladder to the bow from the bilge falls out, anchoring it to the seafloor. His presence is daunting to the animals about him. More and more come to see this behemoth, the daggers stabbed into their ecosystem by this unknown assailant. A few fish slither by, stealthily taking advantage of the diversion to get some food. The moon now rises and emanates light, uneclipsed from that tyrant of water. A few homes fall flat, but come back in a year or two, much like how that spring always stretches back to its form. The children sleep now, and that captain weeps over his loss, planning to devise next. The stars shudder a bit, their light eternal, and can't read my handwriting, and give no sign of stopping out. How beautiful these faraway bodies are, and how they look, washed in their own high tide. The vessels are thrown about like a baseball, never losing their form. Maybe it's their elasticity that keeps them together, but what of it? Do we doubt that these stars undergo our very hardships? Do we have the Channel 12 news station watching its every move? A few vans with a red T emblazoned on their sides begin some reconstruction. The citizens glance about, thankfully surprised at the aid. Someone tunes into the 12th channel and tosses a drink at it in anger, seeing someone make political garbage out of his turmoil trying to win re-election. In that house of the teacups, those now on the ground remain still, tranquil, glad to be separate from that tyrant, that bringer of wrath. How lucky he is not to need those men in vans.
So what stood out to you about this piece of writing?
It was surprising. I started out with teacups and ships. And I really like that baseball metaphor. It was unexpected. I was not picturing baseball, but it was cool. I really liked it.
And I liked the return to the teacups too.
Yeah.
So it gives it a circular shape. The setting was really strong, wasn't it? I mean, the way the birds and the water, you know, I really felt, you know, plunged into the space immediately. And I see quite a few of you doing that, how important setting is. And what about the tone? There's something to be said for that. What's the tone of the piece, the speaker? So we talked about somber last time. Was it somber? What was it then?
Intense, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Intense.
That was sort of sarcastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, come on. There's so